City of Ash just dropped, and with that a lot of amazing miniatures. I spent the entire Saturday building them and the entire Sunday painting Quixit and today's subject. Because between these Knight Gallants and Frigate Grenadiers there was one miniature I did not really like in his current state. Jorvan Kreel. Heir or Heir? Heir? How's it pronounced?
Heir.
The dude who did not work for his stuff of Kraken. And with him having Kraken in his name and me being a fan of the Cthulhu mythos, he needed a tiny upgrade. And since especially the Knight Gallants have a lot of spare parts like shields, heads and weapons, I thought I might use some of these parts to make him cool too. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, this is a very simple head and shield swap. But I do a mistake so you don't have to. So first I cut out his parts and threw the kitten away for now, I am allergic anyway. I cleaned the miniature and his awesome base from all the sprue residues and glued most of the miniature together. And because I'm not really a fan of his small buckler, he gets a proper shield from a Knight Gallant. And also a head from one. Something I shouldn't have done. The original mini does have a hole in his neck, which sounds unhealthy, I know, but can help to secure another head in place. Most of the heads we get come with something like a ball joint, so I might as well use that and cut most of that away until I have something that resembles a pin. I gave him this fish helmet and thought I could get away with that being a little bit off. It felt way too big, so I tried putting on a hammer from a female Stormcast Eternal Liberator, but I wasn't happy with that either. But I figured stopping here was a no-go as well, so I might as well just build on, maybe it comes together in the end. Spoiler alert, it didn't. I checked the Frigate Gallants, and sorry I called them Knight Gallants up until this point, for a size comparison. And by the way, compared to a Chaos Warrior, these are pretty tiny. Which is amazing in my opinion. And now that I double digressed, I came to the conclusion that I just keep on and see how it looks when his arm is attached. So attach it, I did. And I even thought that the hair is very conveniently placed here, being some kind of a decoration from the helmet. And the shield was no problem at all. It just fitted with super glue. And even though I wasn't the happiest with that big head, I thought maybe a paint job gets rid of the problem, maybe it drew the attention away. So when that was dry, I primed him black and went full on Cthulhu color wheel with this one. Stay with me, it's getting crazy. Greens, blues, greys, browns and other greens as the base coat. There was no rhyme or reason, just some colors on the mini first. After that I picked out his armor panels with a 50-50 mix of jade and sun yellow, and when the miniature looked like this and all these coats were dry, I used a dry brushing motion to paint all his trim and armor with Pro Acrylics bronze and rich gold in a 50-50 mix. For his chainmail as well as the sword, shield and the helmet, I went with light silver. And when that was fully dry, I used Vallejo's Game Wash Black for all the metallics, but I didn't stop here. While it was wet, I used the paints that I used before to tint the shade into greens, blues and browns. After that I thought a striking brown for the leathers would be a good idea, so I used burnt red. To highlight that brown, I used Bugman's Glow because I had it on my wet palette. And since most of the miniature was dry by now, I used Jade and Elfic Flash in a 50 mix, which creates a very bright turquoise and freehanded some markings onto his shield. And since I opened the Elfic Flash now anyway, I could edge highlight the leathers again. And speaking of edge highlighting, I did the same thing with the golden trim and Pro Acryl's light bronze, which makes them look as beaten down as possible. I have to say I also consider this miniature to be a test miniature of something that I will do here on this channel. And because he's a proper heir of Kraken, I really hate that word. Erbe. Er ist der Erbe des Kraken. Punkt. Ich mach das jetzt auf Deutsch. And because is der Erbe of Kraken, he needs some water-associated symbols. And normally I would say that I call this miniature done, but I changed his head again. Because the big head modus just looked a little bit silly for me. I get it, a human in light armor wearing a heavy armored helmet might look like this, if he's not built like a Stormcast Eternal, or the door frame, which to my knowledge most humans aren't. And this is also one of the reasons I like the Cities of Sigmar's range. They look like humans. You, I and everyone else in all sizes and shapes. Which is a very cool thing in my opinion. But coming back to my point now, this head from the City of Sigmar command squad just suited him better. I also have to say that I really like to paint with this over-saturated verdigris. And coastal or water-themed things, maybe slightly Cthulhu-inspired ones, are absolutely my jam. I'm looking forward to do something with that theme here as well this year, apart from building big miniatures. But this more or less hobby log is longer than I thought now, so I hope to see you in the next one! Jorvan Kreel, Heir of Kraken. Wie heißt der Vogel eigentlich auf Deutsch? Der heißt wirklich Erbe des Kraken? Naja, alles ist besser als Weltraumseemann.